Hey there, welcome back to Boring History, where we uncover the forgotten tricks of the past that make modern life look like it's playing on easy mode. Today we're stepping into the boots of Toma, a medieval shepherd high in the Pyrenees, who survived bone-chilling winters without a thermostat, a furnace, or even a proper stack of firewood. No switches to flip, no apps to tap, just raw, quiet wisdom passed down through generations. 7 genius heating hacks kept Toma warm when the cold was a predator. And trust me, these tricks could outsmart your fireplace any day. So, grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's walk through a winter with Toma, where every choice was a matter of survival, and every lesson feels like it was whispered just for us. It's late autumn, and the Pyrenees are glowing with burnt gold valleys under a sky that's starting to bruise with the threat of snow. Toma's 40, living alone in a stone hut that's more like a fortress against the elements than a home. His sheep are restless, their breath puffing into the crisp air, and the birds? They've been gone for weeks. Up here, winter doesn't send a polite RSVP. It kicks the door down. Toma's got no power grid, no delivery trucks, no neighbors to lean on. Just a few dry logs, a smoky hearth, and the memory of his grandfather's voice, low and steady, sharing secrets by firelight. Those secrets weren't written in books or debated in halls. They were lived, tested, carved into the land itself. And as the wind shifts, carrying a chill that bites a little deeper each day, Toma knows it's time to put them to work. Every afternoon, as the sun climbs high, Toma drags a creaky wooden stool to the southern wall of his hut and sits, not for the view, but for the heat. This wall isn't just a pile of stones. It's a masterpiece, built by his grandfather, maybe even his grandfather's father. Wide, low, and thick, stacked with river stones smoothed by centuries of water. It's a battery for the sun's warmth. Each morning, like a friend who never forgets a promise, Toma leans against that wall, his back pressed to the rock, feeling the warmth seep into his bones. At night, he sleeps close, curled like a dog by a hearth, letting the stones wrap him in their quiet glow. This isn't just a wall, it's thermal mass. A trick modern architects are rediscovering for eco-homes with concrete floors and adobe walls. But Toma didn't need fancy terms. He just knew. Build where the sun hits hardest and let the earth do the rest. When the wind howls through the cracks of his door, he doesn't shiver, because the heat's already in the room, trapped in stone, released like a slow exhale. Think about it, we spend hundreds on electric blankets and oil radiators, but Toma had a wall that kept him warm. No plug required. If the grid went down tomorrow, would you know how to trap the sun's heat? Most of us wouldn't. We'd be too busy cursing the cold to notice the sunlight pooling on a brick wall. Heavy and smooth, that cling to warmth like a miser clings to gold. His grandfather used to say, "Build where the sun falls, and let the earth hold what you can't." Toma learned by watching, by feeling the stone's warmth under his palm hours after sunset. It's like touching time itself, centuries of knowledge baked into rock, ready to give back what it took. And as the days grow shorter, the frost creeping closer, Toma doesn't panic. He's got other tricks up his sleeve, ones that don't rely on the sun alone. Winter in the Pyrenees is a force, slipping through every crack, stealing your breath if you let it. So, as the first frost glints on his water bucket, Toma turns to his next move, one that sounds almost too simple to work but changes everything. Inside his hut, in the far corner away from the door, he starts digging. Not deep, just a shallow pit, wide enough for his body and a little room to turn. He lines it with dry straw, thick and soft, then layers a wool blanket over it, stretching an old cloth above like a tent roof. It's not glamorous. It's not even comfortable. But when Toma crawls into that pit at night, Toma doesn't have enough to burn a fire all day, so he gets clever. He uses the fire once, at dusk, to cook his meal, letting the soup simmer while the shadows stretch. Smooth and dense, chosen for their ability to hold warmth like a secret. As the fire dies, Toma pulls a stone into his lap, cradling it like a piece of the sun. The warmth spreads through his legs, his hands, his core, and when it fades, he swaps it for another. This is more than a heating trick. It's a way to stretch a single fire into hours of comfort. He even slides a wrapped stone under his bedding, letting it warm the straw and wool through the night. No smoke, no sparks, just steady heat, passed from rock to skin like a promise kept. We call this radiant heat transfer now, and engineers write papers on it. Toma just called it smart. When fuel is scarce, you don't waste heat on the air, you put it where it touches you. In a blackout, we pile on blankets, hoping to trap what little warmth we have. Toma didn't trap heat. He created it, stored it, used it with precision. His grandfather did the same, sitting by the fire with a stone in his lap, telling stories of winters so cold the trees groaned. Toma learned by watching, by feeling the weight of those stones, by trusting the silence between the flames. You don't need a PhD to try this. A campfire, a flat rock, and a bit of patience can keep you warm long after the embers fade. It's not about the blaze. Angled slightly inward, it's not much to look at, but it breaks the wind's back. Inside, the fire burns smaller, the heat lingers longer, and the air feels less like a blade. But Toma's not done. Behind his fire pit, he props up a slab of slate, dull and dark, found years ago by the creek. Tilted just right, it catches the fire's glow and sends it back into the room, warming him instead of the wall behind it. This is his mirror, not for vanity, but for survival. We use radiant foil panels and high-tech insulation for this today. Toma used rock and instinct. Every ember deserved a second chance. Every draft had a source, and he wasn't about to let either win. You don't need a fancy cabin to try this. Just a few stones, a bit of angle. The cold is relentless, and firewood is a memory. Toma faces a brutal choice. Burn the last logs for warmth or save them for cooking. He chooses hunger, using the fire sparingly to make meals. His cloak pulled tight, his back against their woolly warmth. 2 sheep radiate over 800 BTUs of heat an hour, enough to turn a freezing hut into a livable space. It's not clean or fancy, but it's real. Animals huddle for warmth in the wild, and so does Toma. We might wrinkle our noses at sleeping next to livestock, but when the power's out and the cold's closing in, you'd trade pride for that heat. Toma's sheep aren't just livestock. They're partners, sharing their warmth as he shares his shelter. In the quiet of those nights, with frost creeping up the windows, stuffing it with crushed straw and matted wool. It's not pretty, it rustles like dry leaves, but it works. The layers trap air, holding warmth close to his body. When he steps outside, the cold doesn't bite as hard. Finally, Toma has one last trick, so simple it's almost invisible. Each night, after cooking in his clay oven, he leaves the door open and places his clothes, socks, tunic, undershirt, near the warmth. Not too close, just enough to soak up the fading heat. By the time he slips them on, they feel like a hug from the fire itself. It's not just comfort. It's an edge, a little extra warmth to carry into the cold. We rely on dryers and radiators, but Toma's oven gave him more than food. It let him wear the fire's memory. As the coals dim, he hangs his socks over a stick across the oven mouth, watching steam rise like breath from an animal. There's a rhythm. Cook the soup, heat the stones, warm the clothes. No waste, just flow. These 7 tricks: stones that hold the sun, a pit in the earth, heated rocks, windbreaks, sheep, layered clothes, warmed fabric, aren't inventions. They're memories, passed down through smoke and frost, tested by winters that didn't forgive mistakes. Toma didn't need a furnace or a power grid. He had the land, his hands, and a mind that listened. Here at Boring History, we're not just telling stories. We're showing you how the past can save you in the future. If the grid goes down, if the storm hits, these tricks could be your lifeline. Try them, test them, keep them. The weather doesn't wait, but old wisdom is always there when you need it. So, what did you think of Toma's story? Drop a comment below. Have you ever tried a trick like this? Or would you give one a shot? Hit that subscribe button for more forgotten lessons, and let's keep the fire burning together.